So I can thankfully say that I've never given up on Josh Giddey, and I always believed in him when the trade for Alex Caruso and Josh Giddey happened in the offseason. So currently for the past few games, Josh Giddey, he's been averaging 22, 11, and 8 on pretty good shooting, and he just looked like a totally different player ever since the All-Star break and ever since Zach LaVine been traded. So, people, when the trade originally happened, people didn't really think it was going to work out because one of the main issues with Josh Giddey's game was that he was a very, very unreliable three-point shooter. Like in the playoff series against the Mavs, they literally just sagged off him and left him wide open to shoot for free, and he wasn't making them. And that was a concern with Josh Giddey's game overall. Like, can he become a reliable three-point shooter to the point where defenses won't disrespect him and he can allow more spacing on the floor? Because Josh Giddey, he's a primary ball handler, so in order to be effective at that, you need to be a great floor spacer. You look at guys like Steph Curry, Trae Young. He's not at the level of shooting that you want him to be. He's very streaky, but he's a volume shooter, so he's able to get away with that by taking a lot of threes, making a few of them, and having while also being an elite playmaker. So this season, Josh Giddey shooting almost 38% on 38% from 3 on 4 attempts. And since the All-Star break, I think I've seen a statistic where he's shooting like 76% from 3. Now, obviously, he's not going to maintain 76% from 3 for the entire season, but, it shows the level of play that he's rised up to. And, if the three-point shot's legit, then that makes Josh Giddey an entirely different player because he's still been an elite playmaker this season. He's averaging 7-8 assists a game. And once LaVine was traded, now the ball's in his hands. He's the primary playmaker for the Bulls. And, guys like Kobe White can now just take that scoring role, and Josh Giddey's just the primary playmaker. And the reason why I never gave up on Josh Giddey was because he's displayed this level of play in his second season in Oklahoma. So I think his sophomore year, he averaged about 18, 7, and 6 on pretty decent shooting. And it's because Shea wasn't at the level of play that he is now. Shea wasn't as ball dominant as he is now. I think Shea was averaging about 24 a game at that point. And you were starting to see the potential with Shea. But Josh Giddey was still the primary playmaker of that team. And then that third year where Shea just took this leap of averaging 30 a game, now he's seeing the ball out of Josh Giddey's hands and in Shea's hands more because Shea's playing at an MVP superstar level. And you have to part ways with Josh Giddey because there's going to be a very awkward fit between Josh Giddey and Shea. Two players that need the ball in their hands. Shea's just more productive with the ball in his hands than Josh Giddey. And now that he's on the Bulls, in the beginning of the season, Zach LaVine was on the team. He's a primary ball-dominant player, and that's why Josh Giddey, he wasn't really wowing people with his level of play. He was still solid, but it wasn't at the level that he is playing at now. When Zach LaVine's gone, he has the ball in his hands, and he's able to run the offense, provide playmaking, and now he's starting to stretch the floor. So, yeah, I believe Josh Giddey can keep up this level of play. The Bulls, they got something cooking on the team. Josh Giddey's playing good. Kobe White he's still a solid scorer. Montes Buzelis, he's a pretty alright rookie. Probably one of the best rookies right now in the class. And they got something going for themselves. It'll probably take another year or two, but the Bulls, they might be on top sooner than expected. And yeah.